This is the China Brief.
Today is February 6, 2023.
From USA Today, DOD did not think the spy balloon was a military threat when it was first detected. The Pentagon did not shoot down a Chinese balloon as it approached Alaska in late January because it did not pose a military threat to the United States or Canada. The balloon, which was built to spy on sensitive military sites, was shot down off the coast of South Carolina after entering the country in Alaska. The balloon caused a diplomatic rupture with China, with Secretary of State Antony Blinken canceling a planned trip to China as it floated over the United States. The balloon measured 200 feet and was assessed as a surveillance device with no hostile act or hostile intent. Air Force General Glen VanHerck, commander of U.S. Northern Command and the North American Aerospace Defense Command, said that the intelligence payload was about the size of a regional jetliner and weighed thousands of pounds. The balloon's path was monitored to limit its effectiveness and protect sensitive sites, and its capabilities were studied. The debris field from shooting down the balloon off the coast of South Carolina is being treated as potential hazardous waste because of the possibility of explosives aboard. It covers an area of 15 football fields by 15 football fields and is being assessed by Navy explosive ordnance disposal teams. FBI counterintelligence officials are also on the site to examine and exploit any sensitive material that may be recovered. The Navy and Coast Guard are patrolling the area, and strong currents have so far prevented recovery efforts. From Bloomberg, balloon recovery begins as U.S. weighs what China's leaders knew. The U.S. has started the recovery of the Chinese balloon shot down by an American F-22 fighter jet off the coast of South Carolina. The Biden administration officials are still trying to determine the extent of senior leaders in Beijing's knowledge of the alleged spy mission. The debris field, where the balloon and its payload came down, is about 15 American football fields long and the same distance wide. The U.S. is surveying the site and retrieving the wreckage, but one of the concerns is whether the equipment carried explosives or other hazardous materials. The U.S. assessed that the balloon did not present an urgent intelligence-gathering threat, and they took maximum protective measures while it was transiting across the U.S. to neutralize its intelligence-gathering capabilities and gather as much information as possible about its use by China. General Glen VanHerck, commander of the North American Aerospace Defense Command, said in a briefing that the administration gained a better sense of what the balloon could do during the time it moved across the U.S. He added that the balloon was a maneuverable platform and China utilized its maneuverability to strategically position themselves. Now that the balloon is down and recovery efforts are underway, the administration is focused on determining whether Chinese leaders were aware of the spying program and if it represents a more aggressive intelligence push in the U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that the administration was still trying to understand Chinese officials' thinking on the matter. John Kirby, spokesman for the National Security Council, said it strains credulity that the balloon was an innocent weather balloon just floating on the winds. The recovery efforts are being carried out by a Navy ship mapping the debris field and have been complicated by the need for precautions to ensure the debris field is free of any hazardous materials. From the Wall Street Journal, U.S. weighs sanctions for Chinese companies over Iran surveillance buildup. The U.S. government is considering new sanctions against Chinese surveillance companies, such as Antony Technologies Company, over sales of their products to Iran's security forces. The Chinese technology has been used to monitor and clamp down on protests in Iran, as well as to detect and punish women who do not wear the veil. The expanding role of Chinese companies in Iran has drawn scrutiny from the U.S., which is alarmed by China's exports of surveillance tools used in their campaign to target the Uyghur minority. The sanctions being considered by the State Department and the Treasury could put Antony at risk of being cut off from the U.S. financial system. Antony's surveillance platform has been sold to units of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, and the Basij, two hardline paramilitary groups that have played a key role in cracking down on street protests. The company has sold its cameras and other surveillance products to over 60 countries around the world. Antony has been placed on an export blacklist by the U.S. Commerce Department, citing sales to Iran's IRGC and its links to China's campaign against Uyghur minorities. The U.S. is also investigating whether Zhejiang Uniview Technologies Company, another large Chinese provider, has sold surveillance tools to Iran security forces. Chinese companies have been aggressive in marketing their digital tracking systems to other governments as a solution to security issues. The U.S. government is taking steps to hold companies accountable for supporting human rights violations by China and Iran.